Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the Rectified Podcast. Today's episode is a little different. In the beginning of this year, I ran a poll on Instagram and I asked if you would like to see more personal content, which is why we have this episode today. Today, I'm being interviewed by Charles, the person who helps me produce this podcast and the owner of Speak Up Studio, where we record everything. So, Charles, here you go.
Yes, hello, Sandy. So it's a bit strange. Usually you
Yeah,
ask the good questions. So
I
it's
know.
for me like this responsibility today, but I'm really excited to go further with this.
Yeah.
So, how was your week? Let's start with this.
It was good. Yesterday was the first day of my new year. This is what I considered
Okay.
because January was very weird. A lot happened. I got sick twice. A
Wow.
lot of things happened, and I couldn't get back to my habits, my good habits, and then to work with full focus. So I'm like, February has to go right. Yesterday morning, I woke up, I worked out, I did everything like the
Love
way
it.
I do it. And then I was able to be super productive. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. Nice. So, shall we dive into it?
Go ahead.
Perfect. So, like briefly, like I know a bit your story,
Yeah.
Sandy. You told me once that you come from an entrepreneurial family. So, looking back, what was the dinner table lesson that you felt like it was like a masterclass business at that time?
Well, I never allowed anyone to talk about business around the dinner table.
Interesting.
So when I started to work with my dad, I was 21. And my uncle also worked with us in the company. He was one of the people who worked in the company. So we usually, let's say on Sundays, we have a tradition like Sunday lunch with the family or things like that. And it's like my day off, and I'm 21 and I want to be, I want to do fun stuff. And then I have to go to this lunch with my family. So we used to sit, for lunch, and they start discussing this client and that shipment and I don't know what. And then at some point, I'm like, you know what? You cannot talk about work when we're having lunch or dinner or whatever. So it was never, I don't know. I was able at a young age to put this rule in our family. So we never had that. But something I learned from working with my father is a lot of patience because, when you're younger and my dad was, when I started working, my dad was in his 60s. He was
Yeah.
like, there's a 40 something year difference between me and him. So it was a lot of convincing, and I'm the young one and I don't know, etc., etc. But like after 10 years, he was like able to trust me and, accept all of my ideas. But what I learned most from him is his work ethic and how day in and day out, he never complained about going to work. Every morning he woke up, he shaved, he wore his suit, he went to work, like, until like the last days of his life. So that's that. We don't have that in the new generation. It's more and more difficult, but I'm trying. The older I get, the more I try to follow on his footsteps, let's say. Before we keep going, I want to mention something. 96.3% of the people watching this aren't subscribed. If you're enjoying this conversation, subscribing is the easiest way to make sure you don't miss what's coming next. It also helps the podcast reach more people who are building, learning, and figuring things out just like you. So if this episode is resonating, hit subscribe. It only takes a second and it makes a bigger difference than you think.
Actually, I had this when you mentioned this nice story, Sandy. A question in the back of my mind. I think it's like a very critical one for some people. Should I like start a business with family? Should I do it alone? Like,
Yeah.
what's your take on this coming from this reality?
It's a challenge. Working with your family is a challenge, but it's also nice. Like today, I wish, for example, if one of my sisters was with me in my business, because there are things that we understand each other, it's different. But a father daughter was also a whole other dynamic. I didn't choose. Well, I chose it. I cannot say I didn't choose it because we're three sisters and I'm the one who chose to continue and work with my father in the business. I did that for 11 years until I moved here. And even after I moved here, I was always consulting with him. I was always on the phone. I also did a lot of back and forth to help them out a little bit. It's nice. I don't know. I chose that, but it's not for everyone. Even
Yeah.
entrepreneurship in general, it's not for everyone. Some people can handle that. Some people cannot. They need to have the paycheck every 2 weeks in their
Yeah.
bank account. They need structure. They need people to tell them what to do. They need the guidelines. We don't have that as entrepreneurs. I'm used to creating my own projects, inventing new things to do, all of that, and riding that roller coaster of today I'm making money, tomorrow I'm not making money. It's a roller coaster ride until at some point it stabilizes.
Yeah.
So just to say it's not for everybody.
That's very interesting because you mentioned you chose that, and it's a segue to my next question.
Yeah.
Do you think entrepreneurship is something you learn, or is it like something that you have inside you that you have to develop? Like, how did
Yeah.
you felt like pulled towards this?
It's a little bit of both. For me, it comes naturally. It's something I always had a lot of ideas. I always see things from a 360-degree angle. I don't see one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Even with my clients, like they come to me with a marketing issue and we try to solve it. But I start thinking about the other aspects of the business. What about your production? How much are you producing? What's the logistics? How do you ship this? I keep asking all the other questions and not just like, what are you doing on social media? Who's producing your content? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All of these things. So for me, it comes naturally, but you can also learn it. It, like I said before, it depends on your personality. If you like more stability, doing the same thing day in and day out, it's one thing.
Yeah.
And also if you have responsibilities in life, like if you have children
Yeah.
and you're new in the business, you can't just quit your job and say, I'm going to go into entrepreneurship and then probably have very little money. If you have babies or something like that, there's a lot of cost. So depends also on where you are in life. If you're single, you can say, I'm going to start it as a side hustle. And then when I make enough money, quit my job. That's feasible too,
Yeah.
One thing I learned that it's a better way to start as an employee and then venture into entrepreneurship, because being an employee trains you to become a different person, shows you how to structure a business, the things that you need to do. It trains you. You become a more mature person. That's why they say experience, even if it's for a few years. Don't just start at 18 or 20 or whatever with a new business. Work somewhere, learn. It's something that I didn't do.
Yeah.
But now that when I look back, I would say it would have been better because I would have learned so many things that I learned from my own mistakes trying to find out things.
That was actually a question I had as a follow up. Like, let's say
Yeah.
if you were an employee of someone, where would you envision that?
I think I would have loved to work in an agency, like a marketing agency, social media agency. It's fun. They say it's a lot of hours. I've had friends who worked in very big agencies here in Montreal, and they said that they stayed very late and all of that. It's the equivalent of like the big four in consulting, so long hours, but it's like a fun environment with a fun vibe, and you're doing
Yeah.
creative stuff while also delivering strategies to the client. So I think that would have been.
Yeah, interesting. Sandy, you have an interesting background coming from Lebanon.
Yeah.
Have you started business there?
No, I
No.
worked in our family business with my father.
Yeah.
I started there was basically in our business, there was no marketing.
Okay.
My dad started working at the age of 12 with his brother. His brother had started a small business in the north of Lebanon. And then things, they started to make more money and they expanded the business, etc. Then his brother passed away when we were kids. So my father took over the business. And it was very traditional. You import products and then the clients come somehow and then you sell. Also, back in the days, it was way easier. We were more known in Tripoli, in Lebanon. It's a very small city and everybody knows you. It's smaller than Beirut.
Yep.
They know like this family, they sell these products, So
Yep.
everybody goes there. And then after the year 2000, ancient history, he opened another branch in Beirut.
Okay.
And it was a much bigger store. So we had 2 stores. I was in university, then I graduated, and we needed to implement some marketing stuff. I studied marketing. So I started with that. I'm like, I need to work with my dad. I need to help him. And I started with marketing. So I started from scratch, creating all of those things. Obviously, I didn't have experience. So I used to go to my textbooks and see what I'm going to do and all of that. And then slowly and gradually, when social media started, I was one of the first companies to start like a Facebook page. I think it was groups, but back then there were no pages. I did that. We had like thousands of people in that group.
Cool.
I used to post, we sold like ceramic tiles and toilet seats and, and I made that cool somehow and I posted it on Facebook. And that's how I did the rebrand. Like there was a lot of things that happened during those 11 years that I was there. And then in 2015, I moved here and I did my MBA. I wanted to go back. I didn't. I stayed here and here we are.
Great. And, looking back into it, like what was this, maybe Lebanese touch or instinct that you had from there that put you on the edge here in Montreal in terms of business?
Yeah, living in Lebanon, you become very resilient and you know how to do business in major uncertainty. So we used to go, for example, to Italy to buy the products and it's hundreds of thousands of euros, like it's big investments and you have to import all of these things that are easily breakable and put them in a warehouse. And you don't know if something's going to hit, like a bomb is going to hit that warehouse.
Yeah.
And you don't know if people will come and buy from you, because if there's something political happening, like a war or an unrest, they will not renovate their houses and they will not come and buy from us. So you would be investing 100,000 euros, 200,000, whatever the amount is. And you don't know. And you have to keep on doing and somehow navigate all of that and try to attract customers. And that thing helped me here because when I started, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anything in this city. I didn't know how to start a business or run a business or how to talk to people. It's a different way of dealing with people here than it is in Lebanon or in the Middle East in general. You deal in a different way. So all of that helped me, the resilience and the uncertainty helped me to start quickly shift all of the things that I do to,
That's
to do
great.
better. Yeah.
That's great. And now people see you as the marketing strategist that you are. But coming here in Montreal in your first years, what was that like 3 a.m. worry that shaped you and the way you help the clients today?
I'm doing something new this year. Every month, I'll be hosting a live 90-minute online workshop designed specifically for product-based businesses. Each workshop will focus on one topic that actually moves the needle for product founders. Things like growth, positioning, pricing, and scaling without burning out. If you want to be invited to these sessions, join the waitlist. I'll email you each month with the upcoming topic and all the details. You can sign up through the link in the episode description. When I moved here, I came to do my MBA. So I went to HEC Montreal. I did my MBA. It was a very intensive program for 1 year full time. And after that, I wanted to go back, but then I wanted to stay here. And long story short, I decided to stay here. And I was like, let me find a job to better understand how things work here.
Yeah.
And then I knew that eventually I want to have my own business. So I applied to probably 1,000, if not more, businesses. And I got like 1 or 2 interviews. It was really bad. I talked to recruiters. One recruiter like literally made me cry on the phone. Like she destroyed me. I came with like a lot
Yeah.
of experience. I managed a whole business and I had 2 university degrees. The third one, I got it from here, from Montreal, the MBA. And it's like, I know that I can do this, but people didn't see that in me. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna wait for anyone to employ me. I'm gonna start my business. So in 2017 I started Rectified and it moved from, well, I did a lot of things until today. It's marketing and growth consultancy, but at the beginning I did almost everything just to make some money. I
Yeah.
managed social media accounts, I created content for people, like everything marketing related. But then at some point I worked with a coach and she's like, what do you want to do? You're all over the place, you need to focus. Who do you want to work with? And I realized that, you know, I used to work with products in Lebanon and
Yeah.
that's what clicks in my mind. I love that. So I decided to focus on product businesses, whether it's retail, e-commerce, it doesn't matter, because this is what I know. I see that, I understand the things that they go through. It's not like a service business, you know, they have products, they have inventory. Like I said,
Yeah.
we used to have a lot of inventory to worry about, etc., etc. So it's not just marketing it, but also matching it with the reality of your business. And since then, I started focusing on product-based businesses and providing, whether it's content or information or consultancy, you know, to this particular group of people.
Very interesting. In the product-based industry, what was there that you saw that people didn't see and told you, okay, I want to also push further.
Yeah.
Like it's very interesting. I feel like everyone started like this. Like
Yeah.
we start from an ego perspective, a business or things, but like we realize, oh, we can do greater things with it, help greater
Exactly.
people. So what was
Exactly.
it for you?
Well, in Lebanon, I was a small business. I know how it works. I know that every time we sold something, we were, you know, you're so happy and you're like, yes, we did this. Or like in our previous business, we used to have really big invoices because if somebody comes and buys things for his entire house, it's a lot of money, you know?
Yeah.
So whenever we had that kind of a sale, they used to call us from the other branch in Tripoli and they're like, guess what? We sold for this amount, you know, and we would be
Nice.
so happy. It's a small business. It's like a family.
Yeah.
And most product-based businesses, they start like that. They start as someone who had an idea or had an issue or problem, and then they created a product to solve, you know, that problem that they have. And then they decide to like have a business, but they're not really business people. So that's where I come in. And I also know for a fact that every single time they make a sale, they're doing a little dance in their living room.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. I have felt it in my life. And until today, every time I sign a contract, I do that little dance, you know? So I feel what they're feeling, or I felt also like throughout my career. So I really feel like I can help them. And I provide a lot of free content, but please also let me help you with consultancy, or just like give you a small idea that can shift things for you. Sometimes I just like hop on a call with someone, not necessarily clients. They could be like just asking questions about my services, and I would just give them 2-3 tips just like that. And they
Yeah.
would go and implement them, you know, because the main goal is to help. Obviously, I have to live after
Yes.
that, but also I love to help and provide value as much as possible.
Very cool. Very interesting. Also, like a few days ago, I watched a video from Alex from Ozi, and actually,
Yes.
I had a question about this
Yeah.
because it's like the four types of businesses,
Yeah.
and he mentioned the trend for the product base is really like a stair. So like it really depends on your capital and your inventory.
Yeah.
So what's the mindset you would give product-based businesses on that, like how to raise capital or how to
Yeah.
how to leverage the capital and their gain
Yeah.
for the next wave of inventory?
Cash flow is very important.
Yeah.
I always see people, they make like really 7 figures sometimes in sales, not just 6 figures, and they still don't have money because they don't know how to manage that, how much to pay themselves, how much to pay people, how much to reinvest in producing a new batch or buying a new batch. It's very important to manage that. And people don't realize that because when you're selling a service, everything you make, you can take a lot from that money and just like pay for your costs, your whatever you're paying for, your internet, your software, your whatever.
Yeah.
But the rest you can take it. You don't have to reinvest it. While in the product business, it's very like the cost of goods sold is very important, and it affects, everything affects. It's a numbers game, and it's not that easy to manage it. So what I would say is to focus on the money and to pay attention to it a lot, but also to focus on the activities that actually will move the needle for them. For example, when many people, whether it's in my community or clients, they come in, they're like, oh my God, I want to create some reels, but it takes me forever to choose the song for my reel. Like, what? Just put any song and test it out, If you keep thinking about the song that you will add to your reel, it will not do anything. But if you put the reel out there, someone might see it, regardless of the song. Nobody focuses on that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Just do it at the beginning. You're still a small business. You have space to fail, you have space to test. So just do the activities that will actually move the needle for you one step at a time. So that's pay attention to money, the cash flow, and focus on the activities that will actually move the needle for you.
That's great advice. Thank you, Sandy. Now I'm curious how from the Rectified, the strategy, you came up with the podcast avenue.
Yeah. This was an incident. I didn't even know I'm doing a podcast, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So on my company website, I used to write articles, like blog posts about different subjects. For SEO, to bring traffic to your website, it's good to write these things, and also to provide some value to the people who are visiting the site. So it could be articles about social media, about Pinterest, about Instagram, about strategy, whatever it is. And then at some point, I was told that I should have like an audio version of these articles embedded in the article for accessibility. So people who can't read, they can at least listen to it. And I'm like, okay, what could I do? And I was alone and I don't know what to do. And I started Googling things and I found Anchor. Now it's Spotify. I think Spotify.
It's a Spotify.
Spotify bought Anchor. And it was like the only one that was free. And I'm like, okay, let me just record my voice. I didn't know what I'm doing. So I bought like a small microphone with like a wire, very cheap, something from Amazon. And I plugged it in my phone and I had like an Anchor app. And I used to like read. It was like a 5-minute thing.
Okay.
Write the article. There was no AI. I wrote everything and then I read it. And it's so funny. And then one thing led to the other. I had people contact me. Like I had someone who contacted me. Let's talk about email marketing. And I'm like, that's interesting. Let's do it. It was all audio,
Yeah.
So I had him and we started having an audio conversation together about email marketing. And then someone else was like, let's talk about ads on social media. And then we started doing that, but it was never like a serious thing. And when I realized it started to become serious and I have and it's a podcast and I have actual episodes, I'm like, let me stop, rethink this and do it again with like video and YouTube and all of
Yeah.
that. And then I took a pause and I wanted to have the first episode with like someone who's very well known. So the first one I had was Jake Carls from Midday Square. No, it was actually Nima Sorade from Broya. And the second one was Jake Carls. So yeah, that's how it happened. And then last year I started recording in the studio here.
In person.
Yeah.
And how did you find the difference from recording?
Yeah.
Like this very interesting like linear transition from audio to webinar, virtual, and then in person.
This is much nicer because you get to feel, I don't know, it's facial expressions, it's everything. In person, there's a different dynamic. Also, we have conversations before recording, conversations after recording. So you get to know the person even more, which is super interesting also. I like it more. I want to have more and more in-person episodes, but obviously not all the brands are in Montreal. Some of them are in, I don't know, Toronto, Vancouver, whatever. So I will still have some virtual episodes, but I'm doing my best to have, in-person things in the studio. Also the quality, the vibe, all of it.
Yeah.
It's very different.
But I'm also very surprised. Sometimes you tell me like people fly in to have the
We had
in-person.
that. Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Can you also tell us more about the community that you created around Rectified?
Yeah. So last year I was locked in. I want to do this. I'm focused on everything business related, on my podcast, on this, on that. So I was really living like a robot from the beginning of the year until summer. Every day the same thing. Work out, read, pray, start working, like a machine.
Like a machine.
Yeah, I had it in my calendar, like the time to pray. It was in the morning in my calendar. And then time to work out. And this time for my shower. And this, I ate the same thing every day, like watch my protein, do this, It was literally like a robot.
Wow.
And then it was summer and I just like, I don't know, we had a wedding in Lebanon. So I went back. And when there's a wedding, everybody's there, like all your cousins, the entire family. And we spent 2 weeks with everybody around. And I got so energized. And then I got this feeling like, oh my God, this is what's missing. I need community around me. So I did 2 things. First of all, I created a community for product-based founders for free. It's a free space. They can join and they can connect with other people who are going through the similar issues. They help each other out. Today in the community, people ask, oh my God, I need a referral for good packaging. And, they tell them, maybe you can check this out, or I need someone to do my emails, whatever it is. And they help each other out, or they have a problem and they start solving each other's problems. This year, I'm going to take that to a whole other level. So monthly, I'm going to have like a virtual networking event where they can talk to each other, introduce themselves, and then maybe solve one issue for someone in the call. And I will have also monthly workshops.
Nice.
So yeah, you can join the community. We're going to link to everything in the description. And you can also join if you want to not be part of the community, but just do the workshops. Also, there's like a wait list. We can email you with, the workshop that we're going to do every month. So that's for the product-based businesses, because I felt like I need them, but also they need each other.
Yeah.
So I created that space for them. But also on a personal level, last year I read a lot. Well, a lot. My goal was to read 12 books, like a book per month.
Per month, yeah.
And I ended the year with 21. So it was a good year.
Let's go.
But also that allowed me to come up with the other idea, which is personal, more like a personal, selfish community. I created a book club for women entrepreneurs who are here in the city. And we just finished our third book.
Cool. What is it called?
I don't have a name yet. It's just like women,
Okay.
my friends who are
Okay.
entrepreneurs, and we read business books. We don't read romance and things like that, but
Yeah.
things like, I don't know, whether it's self-help, mostly business. So our next one is Shoe Dog, the
Nice.
story of Nike. And we meet once a month over brunch or lunch or whatever, and we have all sorts of discussions.
Okay,
which,
very interesting.
yeah.
Because yesterday I was in my business mastermind and there was someone who mentioned a book club called Womanly Book Club
Okay.
for
Is it for business?
for business. Yeah, it's on in Château Saint-Ambroise. I don't know if you
Okay.
know the
Yeah,
place. It's very
yeah,
nice.
That's cool.
I've
Okay.
shared with you the info also.
Yeah,
Maybe it could be cool.
this was purely a selfish thing, like
Yeah, but I love it.
joining.
Yeah.
Also we help each other out. Sometimes you have an issue. We meet, we talk about the book, but one thing takes us to one conversation takes us to another conversation, and then we end up helping someone or whatever. Things
That's
like
good.
that. So yeah.
That's good. And so far in both communities, how many are you?
It's all small.
Okay.
For the product-based community, I'm being very selective. So even if it's free,
Okay.
there's a form that they need to
I see.
fill, because there's all sorts of people on social media and
Yeah.
they have access to the link. I don't want just random people who want to come and pitch things or sell things or just like spy on other people. I want real businesses with real products. So I check every single application myself. I check their website. I check their products. Okay, it's a legit brand. I invite them. And a lot of the people who are on the podcast, I also invite them. They're part of the community. But it's still small. It's not thousands of people yet, but it's growing.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I think we can transition to the final part.
Yeah.
You mentioned virtual event, but we're hosting something in person,
Yes.
March 28th.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
So excited. So we're almost, this is episode 84, I believe. We're almost approaching the 100th episode of the podcast. And for that reason, I decided to have the 100th episode as a live podcast recording where people can join us and be there for the event. So that's what we're planning. We're talking to a few guests to see, they're really people who are in direct relation with product-based businesses, either experts or they can be helpful or they give them insight. And we will announce that soon, but I'm super excited. And you're going to be helping me.
Yep.
You're going to be helping me produce that. It's going to be in a very nice co-working space in the district of Chabanel. For those who are here, they know where that is. And
Very
so
cool.
excited.
Yeah. And without giving it all away, what would be the vibe?
It would be more of a discussion like we're
Yeah.
doing now, but with a few people, like probably 3 or 4 guests, depending on what happens from now until next week. We will decide on who the guests are so people can get those tickets and come and be part of this experience. And hopefully if they like that, we can do it over and over again. But
Absolutely.
this is the big celebration for the 100th episode.
Great. And let's say if someone walks into this event with like a struggling product, what would be like one thing that will shift their mindset and a takeaway, you think?
I hope I will encourage them. I don't know yet what the conversations will be about exactly, like what the exact theme is, but I know that the guests are people who work with product-based businesses and who will definitely give them very insightful information, and hopefully they will be encouraged to, keep going. And I'm pretty sure that also the audience will be people like them, so they will get to network and connect with them also in real life, not just virtually through the community.
Yeah, that's really cool. I had maybe one last question, but more for the audience.
Yeah.
If for some reason you cannot attend the event of Sandy, what would be one question you had for her or the committee that she's organizing? maybe leave it in the comments of the socials, and
Send us your questions.
send us your questions. Maybe they will be answered
Yeah.
during the
Yeah.
event.
And they'll be able to watch the episode
Yes.
later on. But for those who want to be there in person and be part of it in advance, they have to. I mean, if they're in Montreal, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Any last words, Sandy?
Any last words? I don't know. This was fun. What do you think?
It was great.
Yeah.
Great background, honestly.
Yeah.
Really amazed by your resilience, as you say, and the way you make things work
Yeah.
towards your
Okay.
goals. So yeah, it's great
right.
to having you.
So I'm going to ask the audience one final question. If you liked this type of episode of getting more personal, whether it's business related, we didn't go into personal lives a little bit,
Yeah.
like about my dad and the family business. But if you like more and more episodes like this, let us know also in the comments, and we'll make sure we do something similar in the future.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I think that's the only question I have.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Sandy, so much. And it was a nice experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
We'll
that.
see how it goes
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the audience. Hopefully they like it. And maybe next time we can go more personal or more business,
Yeah.
depending on what
We'll
they
do
want.
this
Yeah.
for sure.
Great.